We all have a part to play in maintaining a safe and healthy learning environment. The purpose of this video is to provide more detail on what those responsibilities are and some guidance on how to fulfill them. Let's start with the risk assessment. What is the difference between a hazard and a risk? A hazard is something with the potential to cause injury or harm. A risk is the likelihood of someone being injured or harmed by the hazard. A risk assessment is conducted and reviewed before each learning session. A risk assessment is the review of the safety on the environment where learning is about to take place. This should include identifying any potential risks to the learner, tutor, and the necessary precautions implemented to minimize those risks. All tutors are responsible for completing a thorough risk assessment on the environment, activity, and learner. These risk assessments should be completed within the register. A comprehensive risk assessment should be completed on the first session and should be reviewed each week. A separate assessment should be conducted for a visit or any other activity that is in addition to the standard program content. All those involved in the risk assessment process should understand that the risk assessment is not only a way to mitigate or remove any potential risk, but may also be a prompt to consider alternative working practices. There are 5 steps to risk assessment. Number 1. Identify the hazards. Number 2. Decide who may be harmed and how. Number 3. Evaluate the risk. Number 4. Record your findings. Number 5. Review your assessment and revise if necessary. Identify the hazard. A hazard could be physical, chemical, ergonomic, or environmental. Use observation, your own experience, and inspections. Over a third of all major injuries reported each year are caused as a result of a slip or trip. Look for slip and trip hazards such as slippery or uneven surfaces, trailing cables, ease of access for clients with mobility limitations, inappropriate lighting, or poor housekeeping. Consider materials and tools to be used within the session, such as hand tools, portable electrical appliances, chemicals, hot surfaces, or potentially hot equipment. All electrical equipment has to be PAT tested and show appropriate stamps on a yearly basis. Wear appropriate clothing when using hazardous chemicals and hot surfaces, such as gloves and safety goggles. Decide who may be harmed and how. Consider young people who may have little experience, expectant mothers, people with reduced mobility. Are the precautions already taken adequate to deal with the risks? Evaluate the risk. Decide whether existing precautions are adequate and categorize the risk as high, medium, or low. Can the hazard be removed? If not, how can it be controlled or reduced? We could try a less risky option or prevent access where learners and tutors could potentially harm themselves. Use personal protective equipment and evaluate if the risk has been reduced. Use the course register to record your findings. Review your assessment. New substances and procedures could lead to new hazards. It is good practice to review your assessments from time to time to make sure your precautions are still effective. Consider these questions for the assessment. What is a hazard? What is a risk? Why do we need risk assessment? What are the 5 steps to risk assessment?